welcome to episode 101 of the franchise. I'm your host, Daniel Ehrenberg.
And I'm your host, Henry Papali. Welcome, everybody.
And today we'll be speaking of that weird fat guy who grew up right near Henry's neck of the woods. He spent $27,000 on a movie, and here he is today, a podcaster, just like us. Yeah, all right, but that's part of the charm when it comes to Kevin Smith, and we'll be talking about his first film today, Clerks, and the belated sequel, which is now 12 years old and makes me feel insanely old.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. And we have a guest. Let's bring in...
We do.
Alex Kidwell.
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for having me.
Sure. Now, I'm familiar with your work on the Rob Has a Podcast network as a resident Big Brother aficionado.
Yep, definitely into reality TV. I've been following that for a long time and I was covering it briefly. And then, just entertainment in general. I'm just kind of a pop culture and movie and television junkie, like to consider myself that way anyway. So this will be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Now, Henry has never seen an episode of Big Brother, I assume. Is that true?
No, that's not true.
Okay.
No. I've seen it. I believe probably sort of like Survivor. I think I saw the first season when it actually aired. So I am familiar with it, but I know it's had, 48, 55 seasons, something like that.
No, it's not like Survivor. There's been, 19?
Yeah, 19. They do one a year instead of two a year. So there's less, but it's still quite a few. It's gone through a plethora of changes and an evolution since then.
One of my favorite words. So I probably saw it when did it first air? 2001, 2002, something like that?
2000,
That's
because,
right.
in the second season, they're telling them about 9/11 while they're in the house. They have no idea.
It was a crazy clip. That is incredible.
Yeah.
I never watched Big Brother before, and then one fateful summer, Alex, I decided to check it out. And that summer, it seemed to me that it was just an entire show about a bunch of lowlifes sitting around smoking cigarettes. And I was like, this is the show for me. And it was Big Brother 15.
Yep.
That was my first season. I loved every second of that season. It's not a popular one, right?
Nope.
There was racial controversy.
Yep.
I was so into the racial controversy. And I watched every second of that season, and I've not missed an episode since. But I've never seen anything pre-15.
Interesting. Yeah, no, I feel the same way you do about 15. I thought it was really enjoyable. I thought for better or worse, at least there was a lot going on. It stirred up a lot of conversation. Like this past season, I think, if people were talking about it, it was for a lot of the wrong reasons because there wasn't a lot of excitement going on. But
Alex,
in general,
I disagree. It's
evolved a lot from the early days. Yeah.
I just want to say, this past season, everyone hated were my favorite characters. I couldn't get enough Raven if you paid me. All right.
I do understand why they cast. You know what I mean? Sometimes people just don't understand why this person's on their television. I get it. Believe me, I get it.
Oh, dynamite. Okay. Now, you also applied to be on Big Brother. Is that right?
Yeah, I went to a casting call. I'm out here in LA now, so it wasn't that hard to just make the trip down and see what that experience is like. That was fun.
Henry and I did this a few years ago. I applied at a casting call to Survivor.
Nice.
That's right.
He drove me. It was at a casino owned by our Lord and President, Donald J. Trump.
Wasn't it at the Taj Mahal?
Something like that. And it was, I got asked 3 questions after waiting in line for a few hours.
Yeah, that's about how it goes.
Yeah, and I applied for reality TV show too back when I was
The
in college.
Amazing Race with your
That's
sister. I
that's
forgot
right.
about that.
Yep. Didn't make it, but
Nice.
yeah.
Let's all
Trifecta
keep
between us.
applying, and,
Right.
and maybe one of us will make it on someday.
I think the odds are ever in our favor.
I wish I could have been on Utopia. That would be my show. Remember that one?
Yeah,
No.
I remember it. Too much downtime and wilderness for me, I think. That's why Big Brother's my show. People are like, well, you should apply for Survivor. I'm like, I don't think I should. I don't think you've seen me outside.
But as a
How I
pop
do there.
culture fan, what are you going to do? All you got in that Big Brother house is the Bible.
Yeah. There's not a lot to go on there. That is
that true?
That
Yeah.
would be my biggest obstacle. A lot of times people get in there and they think like, oh, I can't wait to play this game, and then they have no concept of just how much nothing there is in there, and just kind of outdo themselves by starting to scheme and like, oh, he's saying this about you. It's like, yeah.
If you win head of
very easy
household, you get one CD. Is that correct?
I think they've moved on to maybe giving them like a mini iPod with like a selection of hits, but yeah, it's pretty meager even
What
then.
would be your
Jesus.
CD, Alex?
Oh man, yeah, like Island CD. That's a tough call. I really like what is it that Gorillaz CD? Demon Days, is that the name of the album?
Yeah.
That's a great album,
one.
top
Great
to bottom.
one.
You've got to pick something where it's like every song is
long,
solid, not
15
something with like hits.
tracks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's one of the CDs. I've actually had this conversation with friends before, believe it or not.
I believe
So,
it.
I think we all have. Yeah.
Henry and I used to work at the Barnes and Noble in Union Square, and
Yeah.
I would
wow.
play that record a lot.
that's a great record. Yeah.
But I'd have to skip Dirty Harry because they say motherfucker a few times.
Yeah, right.
I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure that we played that and let that song play.
It's possible.
Probably
All
at my request. Yeah.
Gang, we're talking about Kevin Smith this week, and for myself, growing up, I was a huge Kevin Smith fan. When his movies came out, it was a big event. I would go see it. I saw a sneak preview of Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. All right?
Wow.
That's right. I owned Jersey Girl on bootleg before it came out on DVD. These are
Yikes.
true facts about myself. I fashioned myself as a bit of a Kevin Smith personality. I raised money to make a movie with Nathaniel. Mostly Nathaniel raised money. But it was, we didn't finish it. Alex, you chose Clerks for your episode. What is the reason?
I was curious that you guys hadn't done it yet, and I think it's a really good, in terms of, you're talking about franchises. In terms of franchises, this is a movie that generated a sequel that people were clamoring for so long before it was finally made. It was like one of the movies that, generated, an ever increasing cult following to the point where it's just like, why hasn't there been a sequel yet? And eventually when it did come out, there was a lot of buzz about that. And then ever since, it's been a long time, like you said, 12 years, even since the sequel, there's been a lot of talk about like, will there be a third one? Will there not be? And, it still at this point is unclear. I think it's an interesting franchise to talk about. And I think the first movie is so interesting from a standpoint of just, I talk about it all the time, but like the movie costs less to make than the soundtrack. Like he did such an amazing job with so little on that film.
Kevin Smith is a guy who's very interested in film franchises. He's constantly threatening sequels to his movies. And up to this point, Clerks is the only one that's actually been sequelized. There was a long time where Mallrats 2 Die Hard in a Mall was a thing that was in development. He was going to do a Mallrats TV show for a while. Clerks 3 was a thing. We're not going to talk about it too much today, but between Clerks and Clerks 2, there was a Clerks animated series on ABC.
Yeah, I have it on DVD myself.
Me too. And it's by the way,
underrated.
Probably holds up better than either one of these movies.
Highly underrated. I agree. It's actually really funny.
Yeah.
Oh man.
What else? I feel like, and a lot of people will probably question why we aren't just doing the Jersey trilogy, because there was that period of time where Jay and Silent Bob were in all of Kevin Smith's movies, which was sort of wrapped up with his fifth movie, Jay and Bob Strike Back, and then revived briefly with Clerks II. But you know what? Leave me the fuck alone. We're just talking about Clerks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And
So
if you really want to get
duology.
technical, I mean, yeah, they factor into Chasing Amy, and
Right.
I love their roles in Mallrats. Personally, I think they really make that movie in a lot of ways.
Snooch to the nooch.
Dogma, they're in Dogma, so
Yeah, they're in all those movies.
Yeah.
You know, if I may, a word about Jay and Silent Bob. I will always love Jay. Jason Mewes will never not be a completely authentic figure in Hollywood for me. Silent Bob, I find his best appearance is the first Clerks, and I just, once he decided he was going to react to everything Jay said, I'm not into
Yeah.
his popped out eyes and
I agree with
whatever's
that.
going on there.
I still like his words of wisdom segments, as I recall, but I agree with you. That was something that really I noticed in Clerks 2 with the reactions, and I didn't understand why he decided to do that, but I guess we'll get into it.
Demystifies the character.
Totally, yeah.
So
yeah, I mean,
go on.
I was gonna say, I definitely think the the first Clerks and a couple of these other movies are. Oh, sorry, hang on one second.
A dog.
We have a fourth guest.
He got upset by the somebody walking by the window.
Oh no.
I thought I heard like a clicking too. I didn't know what that was.
Really?
Oh.
I don't like that. This is all going in the show, by the way.
Right.
Got it. Okay. Noted.
What's your
So,
dog's name?
This dog is named Fudgy.
Like the whale?
Yeah, like the whale. He's brown and excitable. And then he's got a brother named Eggy, who's a smaller, whiter dog.
Oh.
Yeah.
Noted. All right, where were we?
Yes. So, yeah. Well, I was just gonna say about the Silent Bob character. Like, I think it's very interesting how the thing that he does very well, and I mean, I guess it's kind of obvious, but like the silence of like spending so much time not talking accentuates the few times he does talk, and the two memories that really stick with you, like you were talking about, this like little line he gives at the end of Clerks and then the speech in Chasing Amy, I think like really are that much more profound by the fact that someone who never talks is speaking. It makes you want to actually listen.
That's right. That's right. That's what I was thinking of, Chasing Amy in particular. Yeah.
It's also
Great.
kind of amazing that he chose to give himself that role, because it turns out that he's the most verbose motherfucker on the planet.
Yeah, that's funny.
It's like early on he had this vision of himself as the director, right? But
Yeah.
the more validation you get, I'm sure, and the more your star takes off as an individual, I'm sure the more you want to feature yourself in what you're doing. That makes sense to me.
Well, he really does have a cult following, and I think at a certain point he started making movies for his cult following, and that's when he became less interesting to me. It's telling at the end of Clerks. Henry, did you stick around for the closing credits of this baby?
At the all the way through?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
But I have before in the past that was I supposed to.
No, I don't care. But there's a thank you credit at the end.
Oh yeah.
And he says, for paving the way. And he thanks Richard Linklater, Jim Jarmusch, Spike Lee, and Hal Hartley.
Wow.
And I think that's what he saw himself as at a certain point. So, like, when he brought Clerks to Sundance, like, that really was, like, the culmination of all of his dreams. But I think that once he, like, developed a fan base and saw that, like, that's who was going to see his movies, he, like, only made his movies for those people.
Okay.
I don't know.
Interesting. No, I think you're probably right. That makes sense if you follow even the chronological progression of his style and his topics and all that. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So Clerks comes out to us October 19th, 1994. I was 8 years old. Alex, how old were you?
Oh, geez. Yeah. 7.
7. Okay. Right around
I was 16.
You old piece of shit.
Couldn't quite appreciate it yet.
Yeah.
Okay. Now he raised $27,000 to make it. He maxed out all his credit cards. He shot it in the convenience store that he worked in at the time. And so that's kind of the story of the movie. Frankly, as much as I like Clerks, and I do, the story behind the making of Clerks is arguably a better story than Clerks.
Yeah, I think that's kind of
Well,
fair.
that's probably inevitable, yeah. But I mean, when you're doing,
There's a feature-length documentary about the making of Clerks called The Snowball Effect.
yeah,
Have either of you seen that?
I have
no,
not.
I don't think so. Is that on the Clerks X DVD or
It
just
is,
the?
yeah.
I have like oldest DVD possible of Clerks.
Okay.
So I don't. Yeah.
I think that's a better movie than Clerks.
Ah. Yeah, well, that could be true. But you can't really go back and say the story would have been more interesting. I mean, what the hell's he gonna do? I mean, I guess if he was like a real visionary, he could have simultaneously filmed the making of it, released it at the same time.
No,
What are you gonna
I
do?
mean, you don't do
Right,
that.
I mean,
It's just
right.
inevitably the story of him rising up from nothing in New Jersey is going to be a more intriguing story.
Sure, yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
So
yeah.
I do remember, like, and if I was older, I'm sure I would probably appreciate it more, because I did see this movie like way too young. I do remember that. Like, whenever I saw it, I didn't get half of 2/3 of what was going on, probably. And
Me too.
I might have watched it with like a babysitter or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
What
I mean,
was this your first Kevin Smith movie?
I think it was Mallrats. I
Yeah,
think
that
Mallrats
was
was
mine
probably
too.
my first one. But this would have been my second.
Mine too. Yeah. So I distinctly remember Mallrats was on TV, some channel, at like midnight. And I was going to go to bed soon, and my sister told me I should stay up and watch Mallrats. And I did. And I loved it. And I watched it a bunch more times. And then that summer, like a couple months later, I was upstate, Henry, in my old cabin.
Okay.
And I rented Clerks, and I watched it with my mom.
Oh.
And I think I was like 10 years old.
Oh.
And it got up to the 37 dicks conversation. My
Right.
mom turned it off, but she did not return. She didn't return the video. She let me you watch it on your own. And so, yeah.
Okay.
So I did, and I loved it, and I bought it on VHS. So by the time Chasing Amy came out, I believe I was already like a fan.
Yeah. My story isn't similar in any way, except that I saw Clerks on video, and it was the first Kevin Smith movie I saw. And then I think I saw them in order. I saw Mallrats on TV, like you said, and Chasing Amy I rented in 98. But my most distinct memory of Clerks was not the first time I watched it, but was the second time. I was about 20 years old, and I was going from Pittsburgh to New Jersey for Thanksgiving on a bus with my then girlfriend, and they had the TVs in the bus, and they had a selection of movies, and I remember one of them was fucking Sneakers.
Oh, is that Matthew
Yeah.
Modine?
No. Is that Angelina Jolie? Yeah.
Is she in that?
Yeah, and Johnny Lee Miller and Robert Redford.
That's Hackers, you piece of shit.
You are correct. Then it was Sneakers. Yeah,
Okay.
it was It was definitely Sneakers.
Is that
Okay.
Matthew
So,
Modine?
but I don't fucking know.
All right.
But all I remember was I knew the selection of movies, and I remember being like really pissed that like everybody on the Carnegie Mellon University bus was voted to watch that first, and Clerks was one of the choices, and I was just like, fuck this is stupid, you gotta watch Clerks. So then they put Clerks on, and I was in heaven, and that's when I really fell in love with the movie. And the most memorable part was, I'll never forget it, when they came up with the line, my girlfriend sucks 37 dicks. The whole bus at the same time went, in a row.
That's great.
It was very funny, and then I was a fan ever since. But then I reached a drop-off point.
Henry, I looked up Sneakers. It was released September 11th, 1992. So we'd like to remember all our fallen.
That's the second 9/11 reference within 10 minutes. Congratulations.
Really?
Might be a new record
What was
for
the
us.
other one?
Your big brother during 9/11.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
He's
A
right.
9/11 heavy show. That's what I like to hear.
Well done, Dan. I'm impressed.
All right.
I mean, I definitely remember about Clerks. You know that, like I was so young, but a lot of older kids were really into it because, you know, especially at a certain point, like a lot of them were working at convenience stores and were
Exactly.
doing this kind of work. You know what I mean? Like customer service work. We're starting to have to do these jobs, and like this was such a cool movie because there was nothing else like it at the time. You know, now we look at TV and it's easy to think about like, God, so you turn on. What's the, you know, Discovery Channel or whatever has like a show that features every single job there is at this point. And, like
Right.
if you do a blue collar job, there's a show about you.
Superstore.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's all kinds of stuff out there. It really is crazy. So, I mean, the fact that this was, and yeah, I mean, just reality shows just follow people at work. But this was kind of, you know, the way the dialogue's written and just the nature of this, you know, the plot, how it just plays out over the course of a day at work. There really wasn't anything like that at the point. You know,
That's
and you had
totally
like
true.
the
Yeah.
Office Spaces and these other comedies that came later that really like normalized it, and like Workaholics and stuff today. But I mean, Clerks really like sets that genre, I think, in a lot of ways.
I think
and
you're
that's like
absolutely right.
putting
And I
money
think-
for a certain group of people.
And I don't know about you, Alex, but I don't know if it did this for Dan, but I can't imagine it did not. But when I started, I mean, I've always worked in customer service of some sort, but when I specifically started working in the music section of Barnes and Noble, I thought of this movie all the time.
Yeah.
All this-
Well, even
Great
before
movie
that,
for, you know, it's a very sympathetic, you know, customer, like, you know, and then yeah, I mean, there's Waiting. There's all these movies now that have come out since, but none of them. I mean,
Waiting. That guy must have seen Clerks a few times.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
And,
no, Clerks is the one.
created a
I mean,
genre.
Yeah, right.
I worked at a Blockbuster in high school.
What was that one with Dane Cook, Employee of the Month? It
Oh
was like
yeah,
at a-
that's another one.
you know,
He's in Waiting
yeah.
too. Dane Cook really cornered
Yeah,
the
he
market
really-
on this shit.
They
One of the
built a house that Dane Cook just moved right into, basically.
What were you gonna say, Henry? One of the great comedians of our time.
Yes, I was. The
I
Great
know.
Dane.
Dane Cook and Tim Allen. Those are my two favorite comedians.
The Great Dane of comedians.
Yeah. All right. Henry, Clerks comes in at a final budget of $230,000 because, like Alex said, the original film only cost $27,000, but then they paid a lot of money for some of that sweet, sweet Soul Asylum on the soundtrack.
Ah, okay. See,
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't really get his reference, but I knew it would come back, so I didn't ask. Okay,
Yeah.
that's what. Yeah, I wondered that when I watched it because I was like, I wonder how they got. Like, I wonder if just Soul Asylum was just that fucking cool that they were like, yeah.
At
Well,
the time,
Kevin Smith
yes.
was a
Yes,
fan.
they were.
Kevin,
Oh, I'm sure he was.
Because,
yeah, and they were big. I remember them, man, when they were on MTV with Runaway Train and all
Runaway
that shit.
Train. Yeah,
oh my
top of
God,
the
I
charts.
loved that video. All the faces. Someone should do like one of those listicles, like a BuzzFeed slideshow of like how many of those Runaway Train kids were found.
Oh yeah.
I
The
want to
art
know.
of the video. Yeah.
Fucking hell. It comes in a box office of $3.2 million. It's pretty good considering the budget.
That blew me away. I did not know that until this show. Yeah, that blew me away when I saw that. I did not realize that it made any money. I thought it just developed a complete cult deal going on there.
No, it
I mean,
did. It did well. Listen to this list of movies that it made more money than. Some
Okay.
classics here, Henry. Death and the Maiden.
Oh.
Yeah, Peter Jackson's Heavenly Creatures. A few years
Oh.
later, I would argue Peter Jackson movies would make more money than Kevin Smith movies. All right.
I'd have to look that up. I'm not sure that's accurate, but yeah.
The Coen Brothers, The Hudsucker Proxy.
That's fine.
And John Dahl's Red Rock West.
Oh, wow. I mean, 3 of the 4 movies you named are just great movies.
Well,
wow.
I'm just saying Hudsucker Proxy, a Coen Brothers movie.
Right.
At this point now, a Coen Brothers movie like automatically makes at least $40 million.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's
Look at Hail Caesar.
Did that make 40 million? I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that's the only one of theirs I skipped ever.
No, Henry, Hail Caesar's good.
I need to see it because I've seen everything else. But yeah, I skipped it. It just looked.
What's
very
the
bad.
worst Coen Brothers movie?
Oh, I mean, off the top of my head, I think this is wrong when I think back. But I
Yes.
would have for many years, I would have said Hudsucker Proxy.
No, I'm sorry. The correct answer is Intolerable Cruelty.
What about Lady Killers?
No, that's better.
Yeah, I mean, I like Lady Killers more than Intolerable Cruelty, but I wonder if I still would feel that way. I don't know. Yeah,
I like
anyway.
Tom Hanks in goofball mode, I think.
Yeah, well, me too. It's always nice to see that come back, you know. But yeah, okay, so I'm with you there. Yeah, they haven't made too many bad ones.
Nope.
They're some of the greats. Anyway.
You want to do your top 10 movies of 1994?
Yeah, Alex, you're the guest of honor. You go first from number 10.
Jeez. All right. This is tough because I feel like my list is like probably awful. And probably
Everybody gets so nervous on our show when they
tomorrow
give the top
I would
10.
disagree with this. Like tomorrow I'm going to listen to this and be like, Alex, that's not your 10 favorite movies from 1994. Like you should have like The Lion King in there or something.
Listen,
like I don't know.
No,
Like,
you shouldn't.
We had your cohort Mike Bloom on the show, and his like number one movie was like Liar Liar. So I think you're all right.
well, yeah. I mean, me and that kid are cut from the same vein. I'm going to tell you that right now.
All right.
So at number 10, I've got The Crow, which should probably be higher. I really do enjoy The Crow.
Listen.
Ultimately, go ahead.
The Crow was on. So I wrote down like 15 movies or something, and then I had to cut it down to 10. And The Crow did not make the list, but it was on there. So I'm not judging you for The Crow.
Cool. Yeah, no, The Crow I'm not too worried about. But that is one of those movies that I think is enjoyable the first time and I'd watch it again. And ultimately that's like what skewed my list, I think. Is like the movies I really like gave it real consideration. I'm like, well, if I own this thing and have watched it multiple times, shouldn't I elevate
Absolutely.
that? Like,
Absolutely.
even if I'm ashamed to admit it. All right, yeah. So moving on.
I got a very early hand job watching The Crow in a basement.
That is dark.
Yeah.
All right.
Henry, what's your number 10?
Speaking of wood, Ed Wood.
It's pretty good. Speaking of rock, Red Rock West.
I think that's 93.
No, I did my research.
Well, okay, then I change. Okay, then you know what? That's actually good. That takes off one that I was conflicted on anyway. So fine, okay. Go ahead. So that's your number 10 is Red Rock West. I'm so very glad to hear that, Dan. I don't think that made your previous.
No,
94
it
list.
replaced some shit. I don't remember.
Good,
I think
good.
Go Fish. I used to have lesbian indie Go Fish on my list, and it no longer is. Yeah.
Oh, I'm very proud of you. Did I lend you Red Rock West?
You certainly did, Henry. That was a Henry pick.
And a successful one.
Yeah.
Which is always nice. Okay, good. So Alex, number 9.
My number 9 is probably like a conventional number 1, but I guess that's okay. Because honestly, I enjoyed it when I saw it, and I haven't been motivated to watch it again. And that is The Shawshank Redemption.
Oh.
Not
right.
on my list.
Oh,
Not on your list.
Not
Wow.
on
all
my
right.
that'll
list.
never be on. That'll never be on Dan's list. That's
Not a
That's
fan.
Too much of a slog? Is that why?
Let me list some Frank Darabont films that are better than Shawshank Redemption. Buried Alive, The Mist, The Green Mile, all of them. I'm telling you. The pilot of The Walking Dead.
yeah.
All right. I'm thinking
Dan
that's
has a
that's a hotter take than anything I'll have today.
You got that right. Dan's got a blocker on for Shawshank and Big Lebowski. You'll never hear him be talking effusively about either of those films.
Fair enough.
Hey, Big Lebowski's better than Intolerable Cruelty. I got that.
Oh, look at you. Okay.
All right,
All right,
number 9. Go ahead,
9.
Henry.
Red Rock West.
All right, mine is David O. Russell's first film, Spanking the Monkey.
Never saw it.
Yeah, me either.
It's a good one. All right, what's number 8?
My number 8 is Clerks.
That's my number 8.
The aforementioned.
Yeah.
Ooh, this will be
How about that?
interesting. Yeah, I wish that Red Rock West thing would have come up earlier. That would be much higher on my list, but I'll have to redo it again for next time. My number 8 is Heavenly Creatures.
Yes, a very fine film by Peter Jackson.
Yeah.
All right, as I said, Clerks. Alex, what's number 7?
At number 7, I have Natural Born Killers.
That was again on my longer list. Didn't quite make it.
That is my Shawshank Redemption. I never liked that movie.
I
ever.
don't think that movie's quite as beloved universally as
Yeah,
Shawshank.
I would
I don't
agree.
meet too many people who don't like it. I'll tell you that. But all
My
right.
dad hates it. I'll tell you that.
Oh, good.
much.
Way to go, Steve. I knew he had good taste. All right, good.
He also loves Monk, Henry, so you're not in great company.
I just don't think you
Oh,
find
hey.
anyone who's apathetic about a movie that in your
That's a
face.
very good
no,
point.
No one's
Yeah.
gonna watch Natural Born Killers and be like, I don't know what I thought about that.
Exactly,
You're right.
and that's why I'll
Basically
take
a
a
snuff
Natural Born
film.
Killers over a You've Got Mail any day of the week.
Yes, me too. I agree with you.
All right, Alex. I think we're at
No,
7.
That was my 7.
That was his
That
7.
was your 7. All right, my number 7 making its list debut. Probably my boldest choice. Without question, my boldest choice. But I figure, what the hell? It's great. We need to cover it ASAP, as we've been told for 2 years.
Speed.
Yep.
Okay. Yep.
Yep.
It's great.
That was just outside my 10. You were talking about making a short list that just
Yeah.
missed, and Speed falls right there. Yep.
All right.
Good one.
My number 7 is Spike Lee's Crooklyn.
Ooh.
All right. I
Yeah.
never got into Crooklyn that much, but I applaud the choice.
Well, thank you.
Alex?
My number 6 is a movie that I feel like I do love more than most anyone I know. And I've watched it so many times that at this point I can't justify really putting it any lower. All people that went on to have careers, Airheads.
Dude, I'll talk about this.
I
Wow.
love Airheads.
Airheads is a movie I loved as a kid. It was on Comedy Central all the time. Then I hadn't seen it in years. And then one night, picture this. I'm in Baltimore. I'm on Molly. I'm in a club. My ex-girlfriend starts vomiting. I'm like, what do we do? So I take her back to my friend's house while they're still out partying. I throw on Airheads on his Xbox, and good Lord, it held up so well that I watched it again the next day.
Wow.
It does hold up.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it since it came out. I don't remember.
Especially,
any
I
at all.
think, in the age of social media fame and all this stuff. This idea that someone's so desperate for a deal or for, stardom that they're going to hijack the studio. Yeah, I think it resonates forever.
It's so good.
Yeah.
And you forget it's got, like, fucking Kramer's in there.
Shammy. Oh, yeah. Kramer, especially. Yeah. He's random in
Farley
there.
is in it. Fucking Joe Montana. It's, you got, who has the ponytail? It's Michael McKean, right?
I don't remember.
I'm telling you, it's
That
great.
sounds right. Yeah.
All right.
All right. Number
where are we?
6. Number 6 for me is Death and the Maiden.
Okay. Okay. You can celebrate the work of an admitted rapist. My my number my number 6 is Ed Wood.
All right.
All right. What's number 5?
All right. Yeah. So now we're firmly into the territory of like Alex's dumb comedies that shaped his life that he can't justify putting any lower. Number 5 would be Dumb and Dumber.
Sure. Hey, you can't argue with Dumb and Dumber.
I don't think your list is that
Classic.
outrageous at all. I gotta
Yeah.
say.
Well, some people will.
I'm nervous to see where it goes from this, but so far I'm fine with it.
All right. Cool. We'll see.
I'm a Farrelly. Hey, you know what I rewatched for the first time in probably 15 years this week, Henry?
There's something about Mary.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
haven't seen it in years.
You know what?
Yeah.
It's fucking good.
Really?
Yeah.
Funny.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
I believe you. Yeah.
What's your? Did you go 5?
No, number 5 is Clerks.
Oh, wow. High.
Yeah.
Okay. My number
Made
5.
all of our top 10.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Good to
that
know.
spoilers for the rest of the episode. My number 5 is Leon, the Professional.
Great movie.
Mm-hmm. Number 4, Alex.
My number 4. My number 4. Honestly, like I looked at it, and this person had an amazing year, and I could have put 3 of their movies on here.
It's gonna be Jim Carrey.
It's gonna be Jim Carrey. This is Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. This movie is like still one of my favorite movies. Like I don't know why I love it so much, but like I have friends that like would quote each other this movie randomly all the time, just with no context, and it just holds up. Like I don't know how else to describe it.
I hear you, man.
It's got some plot holes. It is undeniably
For
transphobic, but it is.
Yeah.
But it is very
holds
funny.
up less and less well.
Really?
No, it makes me laugh a lot still. You know, one of the reasons it makes me laugh is if you just think about, like, he was an unknown actor except for in Living Color, and that's the performance he chose to go with. Like, it is a bizarre performance.
I mean,
Yeah.
some of the sight gags, I just like I have to rewind it and watch it again and again. Like when he's like closing and opening the sliding door and just like yelling and just he accentuates everything he does to such a degree. I mean, that character is just so nobody else could play Ace Ventura but Jim Carrey. Like
I'm actually looking forward to covering that.
Haven't you
Yeah.
seen Ace Ventura Jr.? No?
I have not actually. Although I did briefly remember there was like a Nickelodeon animated series.
I watched it. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw an episode or two.
But there was straight to video Ace Jr. It was a little fat kid. He had the same haircut.
Wow.
You know, you'll never guess.
I have to go find that maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, that was also The Mask was that year. Jim Carrey owned Hollywood.
Yep, for sure.
Dumb and Dumber, Ace Ventura, and The Mask.
Yeah.
Insane explosion.
Yeah. Henry.
Number 4 for me is the great Terry Zwigoff documentary, Crumb.
Fuck, I forgot it again. I would have
say
added
that every
shit.
time.
I know, but I literally redid this entire list. And I still didn't put it on here.
Well, I missed Red Rock West, so
Yeah.
I
All
saw
right.
Crumb in the theater. That's a great movie.
My number 4 is Heavenly Creatures.
Ooh, all right.
What's number 3, Alex?
My next couple are probably a lot more traditional. My third is Pulp Fiction.
Number 3, Pulp Fiction. Of course,
Wow.
that should be number 1 on all our lists, but
Yeah.
I'll accept number 3.
Ultimately, I've rewatched it less than the 2 above it, and I had a hard time, with order for sure. But
Okay.
that's a good one. It's very hard to argue.
Henry, what's
Yeah.
number 3?
Number 3 is Shallow Grave.
Henry, I did some research on Shallow Grave.
Mm.
Released in America in 1995. I'm sorry
I knew
to
you were
say.
going to say that.
Ooh,
I knew you were going to say that.
technicality.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, but it was released
But
elsewhere for this show.
But I took it off my list for that reason.
Fair.
Would you want me to throw one of my my other ones? I
No,
can't throw
don't-
anything
I don't
that high.
care. Well, my number
No,
3.
it's staying there now.
My number 3 is Wong Kar-wai's Chung King Express.
Never saw it.
Mm-mm.
All right, what's number 2, Alex?
Number 2, Forrest Gump.
You know,
Thanks for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. It was a pleasure to have you this week. That was Alex Kidwell, everyone.
Henry, it was the
Henry.
best picture winner that year. You can't give him too much shit.
That's not a hot take.
No, not really.
No.
It's the mildest take so far.
It's a classic film about a mentally retarded guy who is there for every event in American history.
Right, yeah. It
And-
just ties the whole room together in terms of
Wow,
Like-
a Big Lebowski reference for Forrest
Oh,
Gump.
see, I didn't get it.
Well done.
it took me it just kind of slowly got there.
It's
Mm.
good. It's good. The number 2 movie in 1994 for me is The Shawshank Redemption.
God, both of you are so boring. All right, my number 2 is Hoop Dreams.
Ooh.
God damn it! What the hell was I looking at?
I don't know.
All right, Hoop Dreams will be number 3. Shallow Graves out of there then.
All right,
'Cause I had
that's fine.
right. That's the wrong year. So there you go. Hoop Dreams number 3. Shawshank number 2. So now we come down to Alex
what's the
at
number one
1.
movie? What's better than Pulp Fiction? Let's hear it.
My number 1 movie is Blue Chips. God, I love Blue Chips. I love it so much.
Oh, it brings together all of my favorite actors: Nick Nolte, Penny Hardaway, all the greats.
Oh my God.
I don't know why I watch it so often, but like,
You still watch Blue Chips a lot?
I'll still watch it. Yeah, I know I just enjoy it. I don't know what it is. I don't know that I can justify it.
Is that me? You know what? I'm gonna help him out here, Dan.
It's a
and
great college basketball movie.
Hey,
It
Henry,
tells
I
the
do.
story of a corruption in the system.
I'd like to give you some
Wait,
news. I have some news from the desk. I just Googled Blue Chips.
No.
Do you know who directed it?
Ooh. Sports movie. Let me just take a while. I have no idea. Ron Shelton.
Ron Shelton wrote it, Henry. But
Whoa,
Yep.
that was totally out of my head.
But who directed it?
Totally out of my head. I don't know.
That's right. The man who brought you The Exorcist, William Friedkin.
Oh my God.
Mhm.
Wow.
How about that?
Wow.
Huge news.
Hey man, you know what, Alex? We all have our.
It's got such stars as young Shaquille O'Neal and Nick Nolte. God, I love Nick Nolte so much in that movie.
We love Nick Nolte on this show.
And what's his name? Why am I losing
You've got
his name?
Rick Pitino. You've got Dick Vitale. All of my favorite actors. You've got Bobby Knight is in there. Sure.
Yeah.
You've got Arliss himself, Robert Wool. All the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I spit this out here?
Cousy.
If Dan will let me throw this in. Thanks. Yeah.
Calvert Cheney.
I was going to say we all
And
have.
O'Neal.
All right, I give up.
No, go ahead.
I'm done.
Henry?
Yeah. Yes. Oh. Yes. We all have our blue chips. Alex, I was gonna say, hey, every time Black Rain comes up, I'm always throwing that at Dan, and so there are movies we have that we love and aren't generally loved by everybody else. Dan has got quite a few himself, so.
No, all mine are just genuinely great.
No, that's not true at all.
I realized it was the only movie from this list I had on VHS, and yeah, I just
Really?
wore that VHS out, man. Yeah, I
Wow.
played it so every day I was homesick.
Are you a basketball fan?
Basketball was my favorite sport as a kid for sure. I still enjoy it, but I loved it as a kid.
Is
What
it
was
the
your
best
team?
basketball movie ever made?
It's my favorite. It's absolutely my favorite.
Not
Blue
Who's Yours?
Chips.
No, it's
Okay.
definitely Blue Chips for me.
Yeah, who's your
It's
team?
not even the
Dan?
best basketball movie of 1994.
Yeah, that's why I laughed when
Dreams.
you guys had Hoop Dreams, because I knew Blue Chips was gonna be that much funnier.
Great.
Oh man, yeah, it is what it is.
Who is your team, Alex? Who is your team?
In college?
Whenever. Oh, it
Well,
changed.
Well, I mean, I'm from Maryland, so I always would root for the Terps in terms of college sports. But I'm a Washington homer for the most part. I've had a hard time rooting for the Washington football team in recent years, but
Okay.
that's understandable. The rest of them, yeah, I mean, I'm just kind of resigned to mostly losing. Unfortunately, hockey is the one sport I never really got into, so the Caps winning, I wish I could be more excited about it.
That's my sport.
That's Dan's sport.
Yeah. You should be very
But I
proud
can
of
relate-
the Capitals.
I can
I
relate
am,
to
yeah.
losers because
Gotten close a lot.
my lifelong team has been the Mets, so I understand where you're coming from. Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough.
Hey, Henry, were you watching when they put up the wrong guy in the wrong order and they got penalized?
No, but I heard all about it. Fucking unbelievable.
Oh, that would only ever happen to the Mets.
Of course.
What a piece
Oh,
of dog
Jesus
shit
Christ.
franchise that is. All right.
Hey.
Man.
All right.
Hey,
Okay.
this is welcome to the franchise. We're gonna rank the Yankees and the Mets. All right.
Fuck you.
Hey, Let's talk about Clerks. We might as well. It's a very sparse black and white, real grainy. The thing I like about it is it takes me back to 1994 without being overly aggressive about it. Honestly, the most of its time thing in the entire movie is the soundtrack.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That in the video store, and I mean stuff like
That's
that.
true.
And
That's
the
true.
lack of cell phones and
And
yeah,
it's
yeah.
but it's
Yeah.
so authentically that store. I like that you can see like real candy and chips and shit and
Yeah, for
magazines and
sure.
videos. Whereas I kind of hate the use of the fake fast food place in Clerks 2. It just makes the
Yeah.
entire movie more artificial.
Okay.
The one
Okay?
thing I do love about it is it's clearly supposed to be like a riff on McDonald's, right? And it's the same franchise that they attack the corporate headquarters of in Dogma. But I love that like their catchphrase, because McDonald's is always going like I'm loving it. It just says on all the walls and stuff, I'm eating it.
That's funny.
It's great. It's just like the complacency of what we put in our mouths because we're in a hurry and this kind of stuff. Like, it's great. Fantastic.
I think it works in Dogma though. Like there's something
Yeah.
about it as like a throwaway joke that I like a lot more than it being the fucking focus of the movie.
That's true. Yeah.
Mm.
All right.
Henry,
But yeah, no, I'm struck by like every time they're in a video, like, you know, especially when he goes to a different video store in Clerks and he's like wowed by how nice it is, and I'm
That's
just like,
fucking great.
it's still a video store. Like they're
All
they're
right.
all gone. They're all a relic of the past. It's interesting to
Okay.
watch now.
oh my God, they'd have such a better time working in that quick stop with streaming video. They'd be loving it. I really appreciate it, Dante and Randall as two characters, but here's something that I noticed straight off in the credits. Executive producer Harvey Weinstein. And he was the
Well, I knew that, and you know that, yeah.
But so he was there at Sundance. He watched a screening of it, and apparently the first time he tried to watch it, he left like 10 minutes in, and someone said, "Stick around until the 37 conversation." And
Oh.
Yikes.
it was good advice, honestly, because the movie doesn't really get going until that point. I could do without the entire Chuli's
get it.
gum thing.
Oh, I agree with that. That was weak. I was surprised. I didn't remember that as being the way it was. I didn't remember it going on so long, and I didn't remember the acting being that bad by that guy, even though there's a lot of contenders for that title.
Oh my God, so many contenders. It is a poorly acted film. Are there
But
any
you know-
good performances in Clerks?
Oh, I think Jason Mewes.
Yeah,
and-
that's the one,
and-
huh?
And I do think that on this viewing, I think that Randall was very good.
There's a certain charm to Jeff Anderson as Randall, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
and he was nominated for an Independent Spirit Award that year.
Good,
Yeah.
good.
He spit water in a man's face and got nominated for an award.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's awesome.
I have theories that he's the one holding up Clerks 3, because apparently there's a script that exists for Clerks 3, and one of the four leads doesn't want to do it.
No, I read that too, and I think it even explicitly said it's him.
Oh, okay.
I clicked on one of the articles. It's him. He
He's
doesn't wanna
always
do
been
it.
fairly uncomfortable with showbiz, and it has some weird memories for him because he ended up marrying the girl who plays Caitlin Bree,
Right.
and then they divorced, and she died really young.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oof.
like last year, I think.
Yeah, something like that. It's
Pretty
a bummer.
recently. Yeah.
Um,
I think I'd read at one point. I don't know if it was something Kevin Smith said or it was probably a while ago, but that like Weinstein was also holding up Clerks 3 for some which, you know, if he didn't like the original one, save like certain elements of it, then that would, I guess, explain it, because Clerks 2 is a lot more of a a lot more focused on just like interpersonal dynamics.
I mean, I don't know. I think Weinstein was always a supporter of Kevin Smith. There was even sort of like a cliche in the late 90s for a while where it was like, if your name is fucking Kevin at Miramax, they'll give you anything you want, because
Oh, that's
they
funny.
also had Kevin Williamson, who wrote
That is
Scream
good.
at the time. So I mean, I don't know. Something happened with Harvey Weinstein at a certain point. I mean, a lot of things happened.
That's putting it mildly.
Yeah, I don't know. He took Kevin Smith's career out to the potted plant,
Yeah.
and I don't know. I fucking hate talking about Miramax now.
Yeah.
It's such a bummer.
I know.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, you want to disassociate these movies from it, but like you see that logo and you're just like, it's hard. Yeah, I mean, it's hard not to.
No, this movie would never have been released without the
No.
help of that evil piece of shit.
Yeah, that's right. It's hard to reconcile these things in your head.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Henry, why don't you talk a little bit? You had it the highest on your list.
Yeah, I always loved the movie. I think I even went through a period where though I couldn't get past the acting, like upon a rewatch maybe 8 or 9 years ago, but that's really softened. Even in my opinion, the worst main actor, Brian O'Halloran's, didn't get on my nerves that much. I mean, he's not good, but I think he's good enough. And I just really, really loved it on this rewatch. And that's why it's so high. And I think Alex really touched on something really important that, we've talked about with some other movies on the show, but for this particular, it's a movie about one particular thing, a particular subject matter. Often, Dan, you've said this, that you like when books are like this, nonfiction books, when they don't just pick a topic, but they pick like a period of time within that topic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a book of, if instead of like a book about presidential elections, they focus on one aspect.
Yeah.
Of one
Don't give me a
election.
book
Yeah,
about
right.
school shootings. Give me Columbine the book.
Yeah, and so this movie really is the first of its kind to really just be so idiosyncratic in all of its classic moments, even though it's funny because some of them were really much shorter than I remembered. I remembered the little montage of Randall saying that he has, stupid customers too, and them all saying the funny things that they
Ooh,
say.
Navy SEALs.
Right. Do you have that movie with that guy who did that thing, and it's that was much shorter than I remembered, but it still holds up. It's so fucking brilliant. And I love it. It's just a great movie. And it's got problems, of course, but fuck, man, it's 27 grand. And I mean, it's pretty well directed. I mean, he edited it too, right? I mean,
Yeah, in the fucking video store during work hours. Which
Is that right?
Yep. Yeah. I'm telling
I mean,
you, the story behind this movie is incredible.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So, but yeah, for me, it was kind of a downhill ride from there, with like one exception for me, which we'll get to when we rank his movies. But
A downhill ride in his career, or within this movie?
No, with his career.
Okay.
Or at least, I mean, he's still successful, but I mean, I at least where I kind of just jumped away, and because I then religiously saw as much of his as I could. Whenever it was just like you said, Dan, when one of his movies was coming out, I was there. I was right there. And then I think it was probably Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back where I was like, I don't need to go to see Kevin Smith movies anymore.
Really? So,
Yeah.
how many movies have you not seen? He's directed 12
5.
movies.
Well, I count 13 because he did the short sequence in Holidays, which I actually have seen.
Oh,
but
yeah,
if
I haven't seen that.
but if you're counting feature length, then I've seen 7 out of 12.
Okay.
So, yeah. And there's like I think there's one I would like to watch, but the rest I don't have a desire unless somebody convinces me otherwise. But
We'll see where they land on our lists.
right.
To me, the acting is fine. It's bad, but that's part of the charm. I do think Marilyn Gigliotti, who plays Veronica, is particularly bad. And so
Hmm.
when Dante and Veronica have scenes together, especially the one where she's like doing his nails or something.
Right, right.
The one,
He's doing her nails.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I wish she would go back to school. The last thing I need at this point is a lecture. It's just really hard to sit through.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
true.
other actors in the movie are able to prop them up. And Dante is
Yeah, I
best
agree.
when he's exasperated, which thankfully is most of the movie.
That's very true. Yeah.
Yeah,
And he wasn't even supposed to be there.
Nope.
it's true. How did it hold up for you, Alex?
Yeah, pretty good. I mean, like I talked about, man, the first time I saw this, I was too young to get any of the jokes. I think the second time I saw it, I appreciated it a lot more. It was a few years later. The third time I saw it, I really fully understood everything I was seeing, I think. It took me like 3 viewings. But yeah, I mean, I enjoy it. I think, for what it is, for what, I go in watching it for, like it's still as enjoyable as it always was, just because of a lot of the there's just so much going on. There's so many exchanges and they're happening so fast that, I mean, any given viewing, I think you find a few new things that make you laugh that didn't before. I'm struggling to remember. There's like one exchange with a customer that I had totally missed previous times. That's not like a prominent one that people usually quote, but like I had like missed it the previous time, and I just didn't remember it being nearly as funny as it was. And it's just that kind of a movie where there's this sequence of exchanges and dialogues that
I like
either hit or miss.
I like when they see the cat. The customer says, "What's the cat's name?" And Randall just goes, "Annoying customer."
That's really good.
Oh
Yeah.
God, yeah.
There are little lines I forgot.
I always loved the line that, again, on this rewatch, you build these things up in your head as though they were like maybe louder or more prominent. But one of my favorite Randall lines is his whole exchange with the woman who's holding the 2 videos up. Is this good? Or is this good? And then when she leaves, I'm never coming here again. He goes, "You will be missed."
Yeah.
And I always remember that being like a little more prominent, louder, but it's done almost under the radar, and it's fucking funny. And I love that sequence too, just because, I mean, I'm sorry to keep, it's first time, second time really just referencing it, but really just as me and Dan being salesmen of DVD, I mean, how many times were we asked somebody just such a generic fucking question, they don't know you. We don't know them. They don't know our taste. Just, is this good? Is this good? I mean, what the fuck kind of question?
Is
I mean,
this
it's just
good? How about what's good?
What's good?
That always bothered me. Like, what do you like? What is your sensibilities? Like I think this movie by Gaspar Noé is good. Will I recommend it to you? I'm not sure.
Sure. To my left is Barry Lyndon. I think it would be right up your alley, since you are also buying, Duck Dynasty, the complete season. So it was just a retarded thing to constantly ask people.
Don't say retarded.
Right. That's one of our new bits. Anytime
It's
one
not
of us
a
says
bit.
it.
It's not
Every
a bit.
time one of us says it. You said it,
and
then I followed your lead.
I would love for you to find the recording of me saying that.
Oh, I can do that.
You'll never find it.
You've said it a few times, yeah. And
One of the moments.
For some reason, you get on me when I say it. It's like you're allowed to use that word. It's very strange. Yeah.
It's not true.
I don't.
If it offends you, I won't use it. I don't want to offend your delicate sensibilities.
Fuck you. Listen to you. You're like fucking Ben Shapiro or some shit. Just saying like, oh, yeah, liberals are getting too sensitive.
No. But I whatever. That word is, I thought you still in the lexicon, but let's take it out. It's fine with me.
My dad used the word mulatto today, unironically.
That's unironically.
Yeah.
All right. Well, different generation.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
No, please continue to school me. Yes, I like it.
There's that long Star Wars conversation, which was a fairly new thing at the time.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
certainly the first time I'd heard anything. I saw Clerks before I saw Star Wars.
Jesus. Oh, right. You would have. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I didn't
That's
get it at the
right.
time.
I didn't remember that Randall loves Jedi so much. I only remember the part about discussing who's working on the Death Star. I didn't remember a lot of that fullness of the
I
career.
wanted to fucking
Entertaining.
school Randall during that scene.
I bet you did.
When Dante says Empire is better than Jedi, and Randall's response is blasphemy. Excuse me, sir.
Well, I agree with you.
With
Yeah.
that.
Right. I agree with you. Yeah, obviously. But yeah. But you got to remember too, in '94, these fucking prequels were a non-entity. I mean, these were like, it was the holy trilogy,
That
man.
was one of the things I was most looking forward to with Clerks II, was how
Right.
they'd address the prequels. And they totally do.
Yeah.
Oh, what else? Do you think Dante should have died at the end of the movie like he did in the original cut?
No. I think that would have been ridiculous, to be perfectly honest, and stretching for something that the whole movie's tone does not support.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like what it was, which is him throwing up his hands and saying, "I don't know how to end this."
Yeah. It's kind of an amateur move, I think, for a first-time filmmaker to do something.
100%.
Yeah, it's like this will shock them.
Yeah, I kind of like
it's
that this just doesn't have an ending. Like, it ends when the store closes. That's it.
Right. That's
Yeah.
perfect. Yeah.
All right, Hank. Do you have anything else you want to talk about, either of you?
I don't know, man. I mean, there's a lot to say. But did you want to say something about who Randall and Dante are really based on?
Oh, well, I mean, of course, Kevin Smith is Dante, and Randall's that dude Brian Johnson, who's on Comic Book Men now. But I don't know.
Yeah, Walt Flanagan making
I
many appearances.
have my Clerks DVD signed by Walt Flanagan.
Very cool. And we just met Mike Zapsik, right? I took you to the store.
Yeah. I just went to Kevin Smith's comic.
Dan
book
was in
store
heaven. We
recently.
did talk about it briefly when he was here, but you should tell Alex a little bit. Yeah, that was on our train spotting episode, I believe. But
that's right. Yeah.
But yeah,
was
so
fun.
you went there and kind of reignited your love of Kevin Smith, no?
Yeah. I mean, I haven't been into Kevin Smith in a long time, and it was like that same feeling. Like I was still able to get excited by all the shit there.
Yeah, I mean, it took me by surprise because I expected Dan to like enjoy himself, but he was really, really happy. It was really cool.
Henry,
it was really cool.
In the time you've known me, you haven't really known me as a Kevin Smith fan. Like I was big.
Well, you gave me the book of his. I mean,
Yeah.
You're not a fanatic, but you definitely talk about him. Yeah.
I mean, in like the early days of the internet, like he had a website called newsaskew.com that I read religiously on a daily basis. Like I
okay,
was
so
big
yeah,
into
it
Kevin
tapered
Smith.
off.
Yeah.
Tapered off. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Okay. Well, I got we could do MVP, LVP star rating, and I got a superhero count.
Okay, what's your star rating out of 5?
Alex, you got to go first.
I give Clerks.
Do you know our rating system, Alex?
No, go over it again. I can't
All right.
remember.
1, total POS, irredeemable. 2, had its moments, but it's definitely bad. 3, solid entry in the franchise. All right. 4, I liked it. Good. Liked it a lot. Nice. Number 5, perfect movie. Wouldn't change a fucking thing. Classic.
Yeah, I'll give Clerks a 4. I mean, I enjoy so much of it. I think, especially for when it is released, like you factor everything in about it, and it's really like a special piece of cinema. I mean, there are parts of it, like certainly like the back stretch of it, like it's very uncomfortable at a lot of parts. And I remember as a little kid, I was like borderline traumatized by it.
Boy, Caitlyn fucking the dead guy. That
shit is
a dark piece
that's
of
next
comedy.
level, man.
It really
Like,
is. Yeah.
Yeah, I was not prepared for that at 8. Like, I'll tell you that right now. But
I liked
mean,
it a lot because it's not straining to be outrageous. It really is like okay with being disturbing. The shot of her being taken away in the ambulance is really
it's
fucked up.
fucked up. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, ultimately, I just think it's really a fun movie. A lot of time, it's one of these movies where like a lot of there's so much dialogue that at times it's almost hard to appreciate without kind of being able to rewind and re-listen and stuff like that. So in some ways, it's benefited by watching it now because it's so easy to do that.
Mhm.
But I mean, ultimately, I just think this is one of those movies that like might be lost in like a couple generations. They might not really like appreciate this. They'd be like, it's black and white. Like I can already see like how people would not appreciate this
But
soon.
I think it's
but
so
for Generation
indicative-
X,
I think it's so indicative of like the independent cinema scene of the time.
Yes,
I think it honestly,
too.
Kevin Smith has hurt his reputation in that, like, for a while there, Kevin Smith was seen as like a major filmmaker. When Dogma came out, it was the same year as like Election by Alexander Payne and like Three Kings by David O. Russell and
Fight Club.
by Fincher. Like, and it was seen sort of as a piece with those movies, even fucking Magnolia or whatever.
Right.
But
right.
like, it hasn't. You don't really look back on it the same way.
No.
Yeah, it's a problem. But you might. I hope you're wrong, because I think this movie is fun to look back on and really kind of fucking works. It's very watchable.
I mean, it does, like you talked about earlier, it really does capture a moment and a place in time. Like, I mean, so much plaid and hockey jersey.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah. The extended hockey on the roof sequence.
Mm-hmm.
So
Did you
grungy.
catch Scott Mosier yelling down to Scott Mosier, Henry?
Oh, right. Yeah. No, I read that after, and then it clicked immediately. Yeah. Right. Of course. Very funny. Yeah. Okay. Alex, MVP and LVP of the movie. It can be anybody. It can be an actor. It can be a director, writer, Soul Asylum.
Oh, definitely go Soul
Soul
Asylum.
That's
Dave
tough, man.
Perner,
You give me that
MVP.
I guess ultimately it's easy for me to say Kevin Smith because this launched his career in a way that, I mean, it didn't launch, other people's careers. Like, it didn't, like Brian O'Halloran didn't take off after this movie necessarily. You know what I mean? But
I would have loved the Brian O'Halloran Renaissance.
For me, at least, I think it's Jason Mewes. Like, you talked about it earlier. Like, this character was just so interesting, and like every time he's on the screen, and he's not on the screen a lot, and I think maybe that's what makes him captivating. But the scenes he does have are just like highs of the movie. Like these
I think
moments
that's a
are
great
just-
choice.
I think you laugh 100% of the time he's out there.
You want to watch everything that fucking guy does.
Yeah.
It's Berserker. Yep. Really. My MVP.
It's Bob's Russian cousin for sure.
Oh my god, I love that character.
That's so great. I have a tie for MVP. It's Kevin Smith. It's a hell of a debut. And that's a tie with Randall, who is my favorite character. In the movie.
See, that's the answer, right? To me, because Jeff Anderson really does carry the movie once he shows up. It's no fucking... It's no coincidence that the movie really takes off once Randall gets to work. And
That's right.
But you gotta give it to Kevin Smith. I mean, he was involved in every aspect of this movie, and it's his movie.
So LVP, everybody. I will confess right now, I had a host of bad acting to choose from, and I couldn't come up with one, so I'm willing to bend for you guys.
The women. I think both Veronica and Caitlin Bree, they could have found someone better for both those characters. I hate to say that about fucking the late Lisa Spoonhour.
Right.
But neither of those characters really work for me.
Okay, I'll join you. What about you, Alex? LVP.
I'll deviate just to be different, and I'll say Ernest O'Donnell is Rick Darris.
I think
That's
you're
pretty bad.
out of your fucking mind. I love that scene.
He's wearing like a baggy sweatshirt, and he's like, "Look how ripped I am." I'm like, "I'm not seeing it, dude. You should have been wearing."
The baggy sweatshirt, Alex, is for advertising Ernest O'Donnell's actual gym that he was running out of the garage of his parents' house.
That's great.
That's a fun
That is
fact.
kind of cool. That is
And
cool.
What's the character's name? Rick Darris.
Rick
Yeah.
Darris. Yeah.
I love that name for that character. That
Me
is such
too.
a
It's
fucking
dynamite.
perfect name. Oh
Yeah.
my god.
He's such
Yeah.
a dick. Like, who comes in like and just starts like hassling the person they're buying something from about their body? Like,
And telling the
don't do that in
cashier that you
2018.
boned his girlfriend while
Yeah.
she was dating her.
oh, that's you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty bad. That's good though. All right, I got two superheroes in this. We'll start with the obvious one. Kevin Smith, of course, was in the movie Ben Affleck Daredevil.
That's right. And has, of course, written some Batman and Green Arrow comics and directed
Right.
episodes of The Flash and Supergirl.
Yes, I was only counting his acting appearances, but yes, right, definitely. And voice appearances in some cartoons. In the, well, I guess it was animated 2007 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. He was the voice of the diner chef.
Oh, how about that? Who could forget?
Who could forget? In Teen Titans: The Judas Contract, he played himself, which is
That's
confusing
got to be
me.
insufferable.
I would imagine that's exactly the word that came to my head. And in Superman Doomsday, he played Grumpy Man. So there you go with Kevin Smith. Now this one surprised me, but won't surprise Dan because I don't watch the show. But Jason Mewes is
Yeah, he was on an episode of The Flash.
yeah, directed by Kevin Smith. Yeah,
Of course.
Yeah.
Wait, I just realized I've seen the Judas Contract, and I remember, yeah, like
Really?
the Teen Titans go on the Kevin Smith podcast.
Jesus
Oh my
Christ.
God.
Yeah, I was like,
Wow.
man, we can animate anything with superheroes, and we're gonna do this right now.
Yikes.
I've read the Judas Contract comic book from the
Good
80s,
story.
and I can confirm they do not go on Kevin Smith's podcast in the comic book.
Not in the '80s, they don't. No,
No,
they do
no,
not.
no. Marv Wolfman didn't write that in.
All right, so
Like introduce a new member. I think like that's what would happen with the superhero team.
and so then I'm sorry, just to wrap up really quick, the star ratings for Dan and I. So Alex gave it 4.
I'm also going for.
I'm giving it 5.
Oh, look at you, Henry. Clerks might be high up on that ranking thing we did last week.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, I love it. It's not perfect, but I don't. In my 5s don't have to be perfect. It's great.
Interesting that we say that they're perfect when we talk about the star rating.
It's very true. I don't feel right giving it a 4. I don't want to nitpick this movie. It's great. I'll always watch it. It's great.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about Clerks 2. Am I right?
You're right.
All right. Clerks 2. Well, of course, between Clerks and Clerks 2, there was the Clerks TV show, the live action one. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
Nope.
It was a TV pilot that was made. Kevin Smith was not allowed to be involved. It was a studio audience sitcom in like 1996. Brian O'Halloran and Jeff Anderson auditioned for it, but did not get the roles. And you can find it on YouTube now. The only interesting thing about it is that Randall is played by a pre-Saturday Night Live Jim Brewer.
Wow.
Yeah.
I could actually see that.
Yeah.
It's pretty horrible. So then there's the animated show, which we talked about briefly earlier. That's great. Worth checking out.
It is great.
Henry, have you seen that?
No, I never had an interest. Yeah.
They have all this
I
time.
assumed it was really tamed down, so I don't know.
Well, it's just like they flesh out this whole town and do stuff that you have to do with like a list of episodes that you wouldn't have to do with just a brief movie. Like they establish this guy who's like a rich guy who just keeps popping in and out.
Voiced by Alec Baldwin.
Yeah, that was
Oh,
great. And then like Charles Barkley keeps showing up, which is amazing.
Oh, that's funny.
Just like give fun facts.
And the second episode of the show is they get trapped in the freezer, and it's a clip show where they show clips from the first episode.
Only the first episode.
Yeah, that's
That's
the only
fantastic.
thing they could remember was the shit that happened in the first episode.
That's very funny.
Yeah.
That's very funny. Oh, one other note about the 5-star rating, Daniel, that you said yourself. It may not be perfect, but you said classic.
That's
And
true. You're right,
Clerks
you're
is
right.
a classic. Yeah.
Okay, so here's the deal. They're working on Clerks 2. The first time they start talking about it is after Dogma. They announced they're going to make a movie called Clerks II, Hardly Clerkin', and then they make Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back instead. Then they're working on this, and the original title of this was The Passion of the Clerks.
Yeah.
But everything was making Passion of the Christ jokes at the time, and people thought it was hacky, and so it's just Clerks 2.
Good
Right.
call.
Yeah, totally
It
good
was
call.
a good call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was released June 21st, 2006. I saw it in theaters. A budget of $5 million, which, by the way, is way more, obviously, than the first one cost, but good job keeping that budget down.
True.
And it came a box office of $27 million. It came in at number 105 at the box office in 2006, just below Thank You for Smoking, and just above, made slightly more money, gang, than Al Gore's An Inconvenient Truth.
Wow.
Okay?
Okay. All right.
What are your 2006 lists?
All right. This was tough. I had 9 honorable mentions, none of
We
which I'll
didn't do our
bother listing.
honorable mentions for whatever. Who cares?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I didn't have that. I had 9 for 2006.
What are they? Read them real fast.
Yep. Inside Man, The Night Listener, The Illusionist, Babel, Borat, Harsh Times, Blood Diamond, and Letters from Iwo Jima.
Okay, mine are Down in the Valley, A Scanner Darkly,
Oh,
For Your Consideration, Letters from Iwo Jima, Hollywoodland, Notes on a Scandal, and Tyler Perry's Medea's Family Reunion.
Down in the Valley, great movie.
That's
yeah,
right.
I forgot about that one.
Yep, that's what I had lunch with Ed Norton about.
That's right. It's when you insulted him. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
right. Alex, what's your number 10?
For number 10, I don't know if it is for the sake of the show more than anything, but I just went ahead and went with Clerks 2.
Okay.
right.
Henry?
My number 10 is The Prestige.
You and Nolan.
Great movie.
I'm surprised you could talk with that Nolan dick in your mouth.
The great hater of Christopher Nolan.
He can
God.
direct a Batman movie. All right, my number 10
All
is James Gunn's Slither.
Really?
That's right.
Of all the movies, I mean,
Yeah.
I like Slither. It's a lot of fun, but wow. Okay.
All right,
And you're gonna criticize The Prestige. All
That's
right,
right.
number 9, Alex.
All right, number 9, I have Tenacious D in the Pick of Destiny.
Holy shit, I thought about putting that on there. No, they just announced a sequel to that, and I'm so pumped because now we could cover it on the show.
I've
That'll be
watched that
great.
movie so many times that
Me
I can't
too.
not put it in my top 10.
I had never
dynamite.
seen it until Dan and I were roommates, and he showed it to me. It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Henry?
All right, number 9 for me is Notes on a Scandal.
Very good. My number 9 is Terry Zweigoff's Art School Confidential.
I never saw it.
Number 8.
I don't know if my number 8 is actually one of my top 10 favorite movies, but it just feels like it's going to hold up better forever and ever. So I went with Idiocracy here.
Hey, I just rewatched that like a couple weeks ago.
Scary, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to watch it too.
It's pretty
right
spot
now.
on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it really hits home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Henry?
My number 8 is Thank You for Smoking.
Okay, my number 8 is Casino Royale.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good one. Good one. Yeah.
Alex?
Number 7, I'm glad somebody had it as an honorable mention, right? Because then I feel better about having it on my list. I went with Borat at number 7.
Sure.
Okay.
It shaped my college comedic life.
I'll tell you what, there's one thing
So big.
that I would like to say about Borat.
What's that?
It's nice.
Well played.
Hey, and on Mother's Day, I'd like to give a special shout out to my wife. Okay.
You have to.
Yeah. All right, sorry.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Henry, what's number 7?
Number 7 for me is, I'm pretty sure, a movie you don't care for, but I really, really love, as well as the comic, which I read much later. I love them both. V for Vendetta.
Oh yeah, no, that's bad. My
Do you like the comic?
yeah, I love the comic.
Yeah. All right.
My number 7 is Borat.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
How about that?
Sure.
How about that? I
About
thought that
that.
would get a bigger reaction.
Yeah.
Well, it was on
good.
my old list. It got booted, but yeah.
We had
Great
Clerks
movie.
at number 7 too. It's same number 7s.
That was number 8, my friend.
Oh, oops. You're right.
God forbid you be
Close.
incorrect. Yeah. Go ahead. Number 6.
Yeah, my number 6 movie is a movie that is universally hated by most people and critics alike, is Grandma's Boy.
I've never seen it.
I
Is that Martin
find
Lawrence?
it really, really
No,
funny. It's
you're
Adam
thinking
Sandler.
of Big Mama's House. It's
Oh, okay.
yeah, it's one of those movies. You know those Adam Sandler movies? You're always watching them, and it's like there's always like the same 3 guys that show up, and you're like, who the fuck are these guys?
Yeah.
What are they? Just his friends? And so this is a movie where
turns
those
out, yes.
people are the stars of the movie.
Okay.
Yeah, Nick Swardson and Alan Covert, and Kevin Nealon plays a really great like new age LA style CEO who's just like set everyone up with like tea and like, you know, like there's no chairs in the office. You have to like take a seat on the floor. Like there's a lot of really great moments, and it's just like I don't know, they work for a video game, so I think there's a lot of things that skews like new age business culture, and certainly stoner culture is like the focal point of the movie. So I find it very funny pretty much throughout.
I love Kevin Nealon, man, and that's
He
news
is
to me.
fantastic. Yeah. He's got some great diatribes in there as this like wannabe like kind of swami guy who just sees
Mr.
himself as-
Subliminal is one of my favorite
Yeah,
SNL
the-
characters ever.
Of course,
Yeah,
he is.
yeah. He's so good.
You don't like Mr. Subliminal?
No, he's great.
Asshole.
It's good.
Mr.
All right,
Subliminal.
very good, very good, very good. Henry, what's your number 6?
My number 6 is a great, great, great horror movie called The Descent.
That's my number 6.
Oh, wow. All right. Yeah, great movie.
What's number 5, Alex?
Number 5, I had a hard time putting this on my list because this is one of the only movies I like, but I hate the director. It's Apocalypto.
Good choice, my friend.
So
Had a
Henry
hard time with this
decided
one.
to reward Roman Polanski in that first segment, and now shout out to Mel Gibson. All right.
All the worst people in Hollywood
Mhm.
trying to get him on my list. Yeah.
Yeah. Now Henry, some of our friends really like Apocalypto. I never got into it.
All of my
I
friends.
felt like it was too short, but beyond that, I
Is
enjoyed it. I don't know. I just said ended abruptly. Maybe
I think
that.
it's a great movie, but yeah, I don't know anyone besides Dan really who doesn't like that movie. But hey,
That movie's
you know.
2 hours and 19 minutes long.
Touche.
Yeah, it's an epic. Yeah.
I got into it. Okay.
So that was your number 5, Alex.
Yeah.
Okay, my number 5. Boy, I'm just ticking off the boxes with Dan tonight. My number 5 is The Departed.
Well, look, I know everyone loves that movie. I can't be too angry about it, but
Usually you are.
I mean, it is annoying. It's got like 2 horrible lead performances, and it's not one of Scorsese's better movies. So whatever. My number 5 is the Richard Linklater's Fast Food Nation. All right.
Okay.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
no one ever saw that. No, it's number 4.
Yeah. All right.
Number 4, I have The Departed.
Oh.
Well done, my
Okay.
friend.
Oh, you like The
Yeah.
Departed? I hope you
Yeah.
enjoyed that
That's a hot take right
Yeah.
there.
Well, since it's Mother's Day, I guess we could say hi to your mother for me.
movie. Oh, very good. Henry, what's
My
number
nu-
4?
Number 4 is Casino Royale.
Very high, but it's a great movie. My number 4 is The Last King of Scotland.
Oh, God damn it!
Oh,
I really did not
struck a
do a good
nerve.
job. I really did not do a good job. Or this was just a great year.
it's not a great year. I had a hard time. I only really love my top 3 this year.
Yeah, but that's my movie, The Last King of Scotland. That's not your movie. You stole it from me.
Excuse me. No, I didn't.
Yeah.
I saw that before I ever met you, you piece
You
of shit.
stole it from me. That wasn't on your list. God damn it. All right. Okay, number 3, Alex.
All right. Number 3, I have Pirates of the Caribbean 2.
Dead Man's Chest.
The Dead Man's Chest.
Never saw it.
I didn't see it either. We'll have to cover it for the pod. Hey, when we cover Pirates of the Caribbean, do you want to go on and talk about Dead Man's Chest?
I guess I could, although the fourth one is so awful.
Oh,
the third
man.
one's pretty awful.
So,
I don't know.
is the fourth one a different director?
I hope so,
I think
because
so.
whoever it is, oh man, yeah, that's a nightmare.
Okay,
All right.
okay. Pirates of the Caribbean. What's number
And
3?
now they're relaunching the franchise, I think so.
Let's keep them coming.
Crank 'em out.
Number 2 of 2006.
Three.
movie- Oh, sorry. Number 3 of 2006 is United 93.
Oh, more 9/11. I love it. Okay.
Third record.
Yeah.
Great movie.
My number 3 is the first film by the Duplass brothers, The Puffy Chair.
Oh, yeah. You love that one.
Yep, it's a great one. You've never seen it. All right, what's number 2, Alex?
My number 2 movie is
What could possibly be better than Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest?
I have V for Vendetta. Number 2.
Oh, no.
Nice. Love it.
I love that movie.
All right,
I love
all
it
right.
too, man. It's great.
It's great.
Yep. Starring my 2 favorite female filmmakers. All right, number 2 is don't laugh. My number
No,
number
that's
2
not fair.
is,
Yeah, you can't
what's
make
your
jokes
number
like
2?
that.
What's your number 2, Henry?
Listen, Snowflake, you can't make jokes like that. All right. My number 2 is Apocalypto.
All right, my number 2 is United 93.
Yeah.
And what's the number 1 movie of 2006?
I had V for Vendetta here, and I went back and forth with some of these, but I right now I have Lucky Number 11 at number 1.
Holy shit!
Ooh.
I've never even come close to seeing that.
Me
What?
neither.
What even is that? I mean, is Bruce Willis in it?
Bruce Willis is in
A
it.
lot of people.
Josh Hartnett is in it. Morgan Freeman and Ben Kingsley and Lucy Liu.
Isn't it
All
directed
the
by the
greats.
great? Isn't it directed by the great Joe Carnahan too?
Nope, it's Paul McGuigan here.
Paul McGuigan.
Paul
Oh, really?
McGuigan. What else has he directed? Victor
Why am I getting-
Frankenstein. You remember that movie? He directed 1 episode of Smash. Let's
That's
see.
Sherlock.
Wait a minute. Who wrote the movie?
Wicker Park. He loves working with Josh Hartnett.
Hmm.
Who wrote the movie?
Yeah.
God, I'm doing deep research on. It's a fellow
Oh, no,
named Jason
I was just-
Smilovich.
Yeah, I was way off. I don't know why I associated that with Carnahan. Okay,
Well,
whatever.
it seems like that kind of thing.
Yeah, it
Um,
does. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know anything about this movie, but maybe we
Yeah,
should see it.
Something about it. I really enjoyed it. Like I've always liked it. Something about the plot speaks to me. It's like simple yet elegant. I don't know.
Do you like
Okay.
puns in your titles?
I mean, you know.
Hey, I'll tell you what, Big Brother employs the use of puns quite a bit, so you may
Yeah.
enjoy that.
Yeah, I'm sure, like anyone can, take my standards with a grain of salt once I tell them I watch Big Brother religiously.
Alex, let me tell you something. You know the OTEV challenge?
Indeed, I do.
You'll recall I started watching Big Brother with season 15. It took
Yeah.
me until season 18 to realize that was veto spelled backwards.
We came along at a good time, right? Wasn't that the season that Gilbert Gottfried voiced it? Or was that the next season?
Oh, man, it was one of those. I do remember
That was the only season it was really, really something. Like, that was fantastic.
It was dynamite. All right. What's your number 1, Henry?
You know what it is. It'll never change. It's the great movie Children of Men.
Oh, right. Not on my list. Okay. My number 1 is Little Children.
Great movie.
Ooh, all 3 of us different number 1s. That's rare.
Yeah, it is. It's true.
All right, so Clerks II, it comes out. First thing you see is the Weinstein Company logo. I'm already uncomfortable.
This was even more in your face than Miramax.
It was.
Yeah.
By
yeah.
a lot.
Miramax are just the parents of that monster. So it's black and white. I'm ready to go. Dante's going to work. He looks a little older, a little puffier. His beard's weird. He he unlocks the shutters to the quick stop. Boom! Horrible fire effects.
True, but
Yeah.
funny.
Listen, we have said this before on the podcast. Fire is hard to do. It's like there's a thing in Attack of the Clones or something like that where they show like something on fire, and all the space battles in this movie look better than just the thing on fire.
Yeah, because I don't know anything about this subject, but I would imagine that the reason when fire is used in movies and it looks real is because it's fucking real.
Yeah.
Whenever you see fire in the early Aliens movies, it's real. It looks real. You know, you see them in Die Hard. It's real fire. So you can't. I guess it's a hard thing to CGI. I don't know.
Yeah, you mentioned the $5 million budget. I mean, they did use some of that on like a flash mob and a couple other things. Like maybe they could have sprung for like a real building to burn down. I don't know.
Well,
Yeah.
I
What's that cost?
understand Kevin Smith really wanted to shoot at the actual quick stop where they shot the first movie.
Yeah, that's
But you can't burn that down. But it looks like shit, man. And it's like Clerks is the most authentic, like au natural movie of all time. And then you got fucking Clerks 2 just opening with this shitty CGI.
That didn't bother me.
All right.
I didn't really
And
think about
remember
it on
the
that
fir-
level, I guess, but I appreciate it. I appreciate what
I
you're saying.
actually
man.
never. Full disclosure, I had never seen Clerks 2. Dan, you remember that? And then
Is that true?
we watched it together.
Oh, we
Yeah.
did?
Yep.
When was this?
When we lived together. We threw it on, and I had never seen it ever, and so we
All right.
Yep.
I don't
I have
remember
no-
your take.
good.
All right, good.
Yeah.
So I didn't like that, but then the movie gets me right back with an opening credit sequence featuring the best post Stop Making Sense Talking Head song there is, Nothing But Flowers.
Love Talking Heads, man.
Yeah,
Love them.
great.
Yeah.
So we go to work. It's the movies now, and it's a set, and it's fine. And Jane, Silent Bob are there. They're sober now because Jason Mewes was sober in real life at this point.
I assumed that's what was going on there. Yeah.
Yeah, supposedly, Kevin Smith said if he was able to like stay sober a year or something, he'd write a movie that he could play Jay in,
Mm-hmm.
and it was this. I don't know if that's true.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're particularly good in this movie.
He's
Oh,
particularly good.
excuse me, you're right. Jason Mewes is balls to the wall. The fucking thing with Goodbye Horses is so
Fucking genius.
funny.
Oh my god.
Every time.
And here's
Only the
something else
second-
I like.
Oh, so good. Yeah.
What?
No. I was just gonna say only the second time I saw it, forgot it was happening. When it happened, I was like, "Oh fucking Christ, this is good."
And I like that Jason Mewes commits. He shaved his Johnson into a landing strip.
I had always remembered that scene, but what I'd forgotten about until this watch was like early on when the kid Elias comes in and he's like whistling like Polly Wolly Doodle or something. Like he's immediately Randall's messing with him and starts like just rocking out singing like demonic music. And
King
Jason
Diamond.
Mewes just pops just immediately on cue, right through the drive-through window, and they're just like, grandma, like in his face. It's fantastic.
It's good.
I was dying.
I like early on when Ethan Suplee and his buddy show up to buy drugs off of them. And he's like, he's kind of doing like the wacky, silly Jay of the later Kevin Smith movies. But it's done without any music. Like there's no score. And so it comes across kind of odd. And the two buyers are like completely nonplussed by him. I thought that was a real nice way of saying like, hey, we're back in the real world now, which of course we like shit all over later on in the movie with like dance sequences and shit, but whatever.
Right. Yeah.
Daniel, did you know Jesus was a Jew?
I will say the fucking Anne Frank Helen Keller conversation
Oh my God.
is like it's almost as good as like the 37 dicks conversation in just like, all right, we're in this world now, this is what we're doing. I really think that's
It was
funny.
great.
Yeah.
And I
It
think my
was
favorite
so
thing
good.
about it is the way it builds to a payoff later, right? It's because it's like this mistake that he makes early and often, and so you know he's exchanging the two. And then later he has that line where even Anne fucking Frank could see, and
Yeah.
we know that he's assuming Anne Frank's blind in his like emotional state, but it's just it's amazing.
Brilliant. It
It's
really
really
is.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Randall's as good as ever. I really think like Jeff Anderson,
I
like,
agree.
he came to fucking play
Yeah.
in this movie.
I agree.
Yeah, and we separate Dante and Randall too often. When Dante is just talking to Rosario Dawson, the movie just kind of sits there. I love Rosario
Although she's
Dawson.
really good.
No, she's not.
Yeah.
I think Rosario
think she
Dawson's
is.
a great actress. I like her in almost everything, and I just think she's miscast in this, and she can't really read Kevin Smith's dialogue.
Oh, I disagree.
Again,
she's-
I have a problem with the women in this fucking movie. I'm sorry. How bad is Kevin Smith's wife?
She's pretty bad. She's pretty bad. Yeah.
Alex, a counterpoint?
No,
Okay.
you'll get no
Yeah,
counterpoint
no.
from me on this.
Yeah, she's terrible.
And I understand him wanting to put her in the movie. It's all right. It's a fun.
I don't.
Well, he wanted to give her the fucking Rosario Dawson role, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And
That's
and
both there.
Harvey Weinstein, in one of his few good decisions in life, made him cast that part differently. I just, it's weird. It's very weird, and I'm not into it. I don't know.
I agree, but I disagree on the Rosario Dawson. I think she's fine. I think I do know what you mean. Some of the dialogue for her does seem unnatural and awkward, but there's enough of her personality that comes through.
Yeah, I mean, look,
that
she's so
charming. I find it
watchable.
charming.
Yeah, she'll always
Yeah,
be
she's just-
charming.
Very charming. Yeah, and it works. It works for me. But we're not getting to the. We haven't got. We will, I'm sure, get to the my least favorite character and least favorite aspect of the movie.
Oh, what is it? I want to
Yeah,
hear.
and-
That would be Elias.
Oh, not a fan of Elias. And I'll tell you what, Elias.
Unfucking watchable.
I didn't
The
think he's
role
that
and the
bad.
character, actually more so the actor, because I was thinking about it when I was watching it, and I was going, you know what, this role actually could work, and so could the dialogue very easily with a better actor. And I don't know who, but this kid, wow,
Trevor Furman
It's fucking
is
terrible.
the actor, and I really think he was sort of set up to be like the breakout character in this movie. And
I think
that,
you're right.
That didn't
Yeah.
really happen. They got the actor,
But then his dad framed OJ, and it all went to hell.
oh God. You know I'm down for that reference.
I know.
No, he never acted again after this.
No kidding.
But I'm
Yeah,
surprised.
I looked him up. Why?
I don't know.
It's up for all.
I would think he'd get a role in something. Like Kevin
Deep
Smith
Blue
used
Sea
him.
2?
No, but sure, Deep Blue Sea 2. He would have been better than that fucking nerd you liked in that movie. But I just mean, like, I don't know. He shouldn't he have been in like fucking Cop Out or something?
Oh, you mean Kevin Smith should have used him?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, maybe
And
he
he
saw the
ended
role
up, he's
wrong.
Kevin Smith royalty, Henry. He ended up marrying in real life the actress who plays Trish the Dish in Mallrats.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's a
Okay.
fun fact.
I mean, the one thing I will give him, and he does have like big expressive eyes. So you have these great moments, I guess, where like when he doesn't have to actually emote or act too much, where like Randall's like, come on, I'd only visit a Transformers site when girls are around, and he's just looks off to the side and like he's like thinking about like, is he fucking with me right now or not? And just kind of like nods like,
But
yeah,
see, that's
right.
it. You touched on one of the reasons he doesn't work for me is because Randall is so good
Has to
that
carry him.
he needs, he needs a foil that is just better.
Yeah.
He deserves better, Jeff Anderson, and he's like, it
Oh,
was like
Jeff
paint-
Anderson, come on,
Why?
pillow pants. That's good.
Lister Fiend is my favorite.
Yeah, that's a good line. It's a good punch to that scene. I don't know. I like also the fact that he's obsessed with the Transformers movie, because you have to remember, this movie came out in 2006. The Transformers movie came out in 2007. So I remember seeing this movie in theaters at a time when the Transformers movie had been announced but hadn't come out yet, and to go see a movie where there's a character that's just really pumped about this actual movie that's coming out next year was very funny.
I don't disagree with anything you just said.
All right, you're just not into the actor.
Also, I mean, obviously, you know, it's great when they get into the comparison of the trilogies and all that stuff.
That
but the fact
is
that
one of my favorite sequences, and was when I watched it originally, Dan. If you don't remember, but when we watched it, that's when I lost my shit.
I love Lord of the Rings, but his description of the walking is fantastic. And I mean, really just in general, like it is so fresh. Like Lord of the Rings was so popular at that time that you did see these kids walking around like wearing a ring on a chain. I remember that in high school.
It too.
And the fact that he can make fun of this movie so hard, this kid throws up. Like,
it's brilliant.
Oh my god,
brilliant! Yeah, I love that.
It's great. It's the best use of pop culture reference in the movie, and I completely agree with all of Randall's criticisms of Lord of the Rings.
So do I.
Yeah. The other great pop culture reference is anytime they're referring to someone as being ugly, they call them hideous chuds, which I fucking adore and have adopted. It's the one thing I still say that from this movie. I will say hideous chud.
Okay.
Yeah.
I laughed this time when she was when you've got Rosario Dawson and Dante talking, and she's saying like girls eventually realize that they need to go for someone more. Oh my God, you were gonna say fugly, weren't you? I hadn't heard someone use the word fugly in so long, and I just burst out laughing.
It's an oldie.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah.
What else you got?
Movie started to lose me on the extended finale with the donkey.
Oh, I'm not that into that part, but I do think the shit in the jail cell is really good.
Agreed.
Yeah, that's a really well-written sequence. A couple of bad segues, like Kevin Smith is dealing with more characters in a single scene than he's used to.
Yeah, good point.
But I do think there's some really good shit in there. The stuff between...
That's a really interesting observation there, buddy. That never occurred to me. Most of his sequences in his films are like one-on-ones, right?
He likes 2 or 3 people in a scene.
Interesting. I never thought of that. So that jail sequence is kind of an accomplishment for him to get like at least three people talking.
Well, there's the donkey guy pipes up, and that's the sequence where Silent Bob speaks. So and Trevor Furman is there. So there's a few people in that scene.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. I think it's pretty good. You know what I could do without? Dante's gigantic cross he's wearing around his neck the entire movie.
It's an odd touch. Is that Kevin Smith reminding us of his Catholicism again?
I don't know. It might be a Brian O'Halloran thing.
I don't know, man.
It is very New Jersey.
Lord?
Oh, please.
How'd you feel about the porch monkey scene? I'm not sure about that one.
I mean, it's a strange one because Randall's a smart guy, and so it's hard to believe that you could sense Kevin Smith trying to get a joke out of it by straining it and to credulity, and him telling the story about his grandma. I think there are parts of the sequence that are funny, like Wanda Sykes and Earthquake's reactions are very funny, so they kind of save it. but like it's just a strange thing to choose.
Still, I'm not sure Kevin Smith movies should have the N-word in them.
I agree. I agree, and yeah, and I just don't think somebody like Randall would use that word. I've met people who've used that word for real. So and they're not in that category of intellect. So it's a little hard to believe. I think
He
it's
made
just
poor Trevor Furman say it too.
Yeah, it's true.
right.
That's why
Well,
it
his
never worked
dad,
again.
his
Yeah,
dad
maybe
used
that's
it
what
all the
did
time.
it.
Dad used it all the time. So
Stop it. Oh, you're right.
Yeah. Wanda Sykes and Earthquake. I don't really know from other stuff, but Earthquake was really funny there. He's, well, I'm going to take this food anyway. Thank you.
yeah,
I was a fan
Damn!
of Earthquake stand-up at the time. I was excited to see Earthquake in this.
Awesome.
Who's your favorite cameo in this?
Oh, that's tough.
That has to be Jason Lee.
Yeah, I was gonna bring up Jason Lee. Affleck is cute in his moment. Wanda
I was
Sykes
gonna
is good.
say
but
it's so understated. It's just not very hygienic. That's all I'm gonna say. Like that's all he does
Yeah.
say. It's pretty great.
Yeah, it is. Jason Lee, who I've long believed is Dan's doppelganger in certain ways.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've told you that before.
I wish
Yeah.
I could grow that mustache.
You don't look like anything like him, but you act a little bit like him in some things. So yeah.
Well, I love Jason Lee, and I love that performance. That little he really brightens up the movie for me.
Walking out with the finger guns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, can we talk about the dance sequence just real briefly? I fucking
Sure.
hate that sequence. I'm sorry.
I didn't mind it.
I get what it's going for. You know what? I even more than just the idea of doing a dance sequence in a Clerks sequel, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It's just one of my big pet peeves in movies and TV is the conversation. Oh, I'm going to a special occasion and I don't know how to dance. I'll teach you how to dance.
Oh,
Boom.
I agree with that.
Oh my God, is that
That
overused?
is tough. Yeah, it really is.
I can't
Really
deal
is.
with
Whenever
that
I see
shit.
the scene, I always just think, you were talking about how cheap the first one was to make and how this one has a much bigger budget. And yeah, I mean, to me, the flash mob scene and all that's going on, all the color and all the people, like, it's just the quintessential Kevin Smith being like, I have money now. Fuck you. Like, this is
Yeah.
what I'll do now.
Yeah, it's true.
That's what it feels like
Yeah,
when you watch it.
a lot of his bigger money movies feel that way. He's got little set pieces.
Although
Right.
the guy who's like shaking along at the urinal and peeing everywhere, that's kind of funny.
That's all right.
I didn't mind it.
I didn't
mind it
mind
because it's
that
not.
sequence.
I guess I just didn't look at it like. I mean, even though it's a sequel, it's just there's no. I went into it the first time and the second time with such low expectations, just because of what had transpired for me, which we'll get to on our rankings, with Kevin Smith on a downhill slope, and it's never going to be anything like this indie '94 black and white movie. So
No,
I
and
knew
I'm
it would be
I'm
different. And
fine
so-
with that, dude.
Right. So the changes in tonality are okay with me for the most part. Yeah. That's
Okay.
my thought. But no, yeah, it didn't. Yeah, music thing didn't bug me. But I am with you. The dance. We must have covered a movie where they do that Dirty Dancing.
Oh,
right?
100 probably. I don't know. I feel like that's in fucking episodes of Happy Days or some shit.
It's in Awakenings and Awakenings 2: The Return.
There's multiple whole shows that are nothing but that now. There's like Glee and all the, Pride or like, I don't know. There's a bunch of shows. like that now.
Rise,
They're
my
just-
friend.
Rise. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you. I was close.
The
Not
aforementioned
really.
Smash. I don't know, man.
Smash.
I remember there was a scene in that '70s show. There was a whole episode where like Kitty had to teach Hyde how to dance because the prom was coming up. I don't know.
There's always that shit, man.
Yeah, I can't deal with it. All right, I'm ready to go. What do you feel about it? You want to do the star rating?
Yeah, let's do MVP, LVP first.
Oh, listen to you, Taskmaster. All right, what's your MVP?
I'm going again with Randall, not Kevin Smith, but Randall.
Yeah, I'll echo that. What about you,
Okay.
Alex?
Yeah, I was gonna say that too.
Look
That
at
makes sense.
All right. Okay.
Okay,
LVP, a clear choice for me. The actor, Trevor Mark Furman.
I'm gonna go with Jennifer Schwalbach Smith.
That's fine.
Yeah, I will as well.
I do also want to
Emma.
give an LVP shout out in this movie. At a certain point, I'll tell you what it was. When they did the Clerks animated series, they started to work with this dude James Venable, who was
I know that name.
he's the composer
Okay.
on this movie, and he had previously only worked in animation mostly. He's the guy behind like Powerpuff Girls and stuff. And so he started using that guy for his live action movies. And in Clerks 2 in particular, it does not work. There are some weird fucking music cues. There are too many of them. There's constantly just shitty music going in the background of some conversation sequences. Remember the part where they go outside and like Dante and Kevin Smith's wife are making out? And there's
Yeah.
that weird
jarring.
fucking music cue.
That stood out to me, yeah.
What the fuck?
Wow. Yeah, that is
Yeah.
weird. I guess
It's
I
like
don't.
she's not some like femme fatale. She just showed up in a Mrs. Hicks sweater. Like,
Why is
Right.
she wearing that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
Agreed. Yeah.
All right.
All right. So star rating, Alex.
Clerks 2, I'll give a 3. I mean, there are some moments that genuinely just really still make me laugh, and I've seen it so many times. So if it can still do that, it's got to get at least a 3. But it definitely has moments that drag for long stretches at times, like the long sequence of go-karts. Like, that's fine, but I could just go ride go-karts. Like,
Yeah,
I want to go
it's-
do that myself now.
It's cute, but I'm not really sure what they were going for there.
a little long.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna also go 3 stars.
Me too.
Okay. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Across
Yeah.
the board. All right. Now
Cool.
we're going to have our Kevin Smith movie rankings.
And needless to say, ranks of these two are Clerks, then Clerks 2 of the franchise.
Absolutely. Alex, how many movies do you have on your list?
I've only seen 7 Kevin Smith movies.
Okay. How about you, Hank?
If you include holidays, I've seen 8.
Okay.
So same really as 7 as well, but I put holidays on my list. So.
Okay, that's fine. So we'll meet you at 8. I've got 12 here.
Wow.
All
the,
right.
the full. He's even seen Yoga Hosers.
I have.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm impressed.
All right. He's made
So how should we do this? Because it's going to be all out of whack. You're just going to give
I'll
your.
go until 8,
5?
and then you
Okay.
can come in, and then Alex will come in at 7.
All right. All right.
Number 12, he's made 2 pieces of shit that are totally unwatchable, that I can't believe I made it through. Number 12 is Cop Out, his the only film he's directed that he did not write, with Bruce Willis and Tracy Morgan. You'd think that would be good, but it's horrible.
Yeah.
Number 11 is Yoga Hosers, with the worst Johnny Depp performance you'll ever see in your life, and Johnny Depp's daughter and Kevin Smith's daughter, a real vanity project.
Ugh.
Number 10 here, not too bad, but it's not as bad as its reputation, but it's not great, is Jersey Girl. Number 9, I have Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Okay.
And number 8, Henry, do you want to pipe in?
Number 8, I have Tusk.
Oh, I didn't know you saw that.
Yeah, I saw it. I was not a fan.
Okay.
Yeah.
My number 8 is Zach and Miri Make a Porno, which is a totally solid Seth Rogen, Elizabeth Banks comedy, but I have no idea why Kevin Smith directed it.
Yeah, that's the one that I was saying earlier. I would watch that. I would like to see that. I've been meaning to, but I never saw it. Is it worth my time? Should
Sure.
I see it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's funny.
Okay.
All
right.
Alex, what's your number 7 there?
At 7, I have Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Okay. And it's funny because I loved that movie when it first came out.
I did too.
I watched the shit out of it. I just never put it on anymore. So
That was
Yeah.
that was the one I saw in theaters where it was my breaking point. I was
couldn't
done.
do it anymore.
Nope. I couldn't do it. But I'm not next right now, I believe, right? Number
You are. What's number 7 for you?
7 is his sequence from Holidays.
Okay.
Did you either of you see that?
No.
No.
I didn't think so. Okay. Yeah.
My number 7 is Tusk. I appreciated the effort. It's definitely a real movie with some ambition, but it only works intermittently.
All right.
Number 6.
At 6, I have Zach and Miri Make a Porno.
Okay.
All right. I have at number 6 Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
I have Clerks II.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm. What's number 5, Alex?
At 5, I have Chasing Amy.
Ooh, that's too low.
Wow.
Probably too low.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right.
Okay.
Henry?
Number 5, a movie I was extremely excited to see in the theater, saw a midnight showing and was pretty disappointed. But I would give it another chance, I think. Dogma.
Oh, okay.
Was never a fan of that movie.
My number 5 is a movie I would recommend, and I think probably the best of his post, 90s output is Red State.
Okay. All right.
Number 4, Alex?
At 4, I have Clerks II.
Okay.
My number 4 is a movie I'd like to see again. It's been a long time. Mallrats.
That's my number 4.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that'd be higher on your list. Okay.
No. Number 3, Alex?
I have Clerks at 3.
Okay.
All right.
I'm intrigued where your list is going.
There's not many more places for it to go.
All right.
My number 3 is Clerks 2.
All right. My number 3 is Dogma.
All right.
Number 2.
My number 2 movie is Mallrats.
Okay.
All right.
Number 2, Hank?
Clerks.
Same here. Oh, we're going to have the same 2 and 1, aren't we? Okay.
I
and
think so.
Alex, number 1?
I have Dogma at number 1.
Dogma at number 1. I appreciate
I
it.
love Dogma. I just think conceptually it's fantastic. I can't get over how cool it is conceptually. I still think about it sometimes, and I'm just like, man, what a great concept that was. And you've got this George Carlin performance. You've got Chris Rock. You've got so much going on there. I really enjoy it.
I think Linda Fiorentino's underrated in that movie.
Yes.
I think the thing about Dogma for me is it doesn't always work. There are some bits that just totally lie flat for me.
I agree.
But I appreciate the fucking balls of that movie.
Ambitious as hell.
Yeah.
It really is. I agree with you.
So fucking ambitious. And Alanis Morissette as God, that's fucking fantastic.
It's pretty
some of the little
bald.
cameos, Alan Rickman, I really enjoyed the parts I enjoy so much.
And it's got a 1999 Affleck and Damon in the lead roles, and they're fucking great. And Jason Lee is really good in his little bit, and it's Jason Mewes is still killing it. It's a good movie, man.
Yeah.
And we're both gonna have Chasing Amy at number 1, and that's
Amy.
it.
Yeah, it's always been my favorite.
That's his masterpiece, I think.
I agree. I agree. It's an amazing movie. Yep.
Yeah, I'll keep seeing him, man. Whatever the next Kevin Smith movie is, I'll watch it.
I can't say that, but yeah.
Well,
I don't know.
I watched Yoga Hosers, gang.
I know.
I'll watch whatever the fuck he does.
You're a loyalist. You still are. Yeah.
He's putting his wife and his daughter in him, and you're still there. So.
Still there. I got a real quick superhero count. 2 people in Clerks 2.
Of course, Trevor Furman was in Man of Steel as Superman. And all right.
Rosario Dawson.
He's
Oh, that's right, Rosario Dawson.
The night
Yes, good call, Alex. You got it.
Yes.
The Night Nurse in Daredevil. Also played Gale in Sin City.
Wait, it's not just Daredevil. She was in.
I'm not done.
Oh, excuse me. Fuck.
Yeah. Daredevil, Night Nurse. Sin City, she was Gale. In Wonder Woman animated, she played Artemis. In Justice League animated, she played Wonder Woman. And in Lego Batman, she played Batgirl.
No, but she was also the fucking night nurse in Jessica Jones and Luke Cage.
Well, that's implied.
And the
Daredevil
Defenders
verse.
and Iron
Did I need
Fist.
to say that?
Yes, please.
Okay. All right, the Netflix. Rosario Dawson gets the superhero count for all her Netflix MCU appearances.
That's right.
All right, and then the second one, of course,
Ben Affleck, Daredevil.
that's right.
Yeah.
And Batman.
Oh yeah, he's Batman.
Ben
Affleck playing my 2 favorite superheroes of all time in 2 of the greatest superhero movies.
Funny how I remembered he's Daredevil, but not Batman. I've wanted to subconsciously scrub that.
I know.
Already
and
from my mind.
It's fucked up. It's just that Justice League movie. Has there ever been a less memorable movie? I feel like there's fucking shitty like TV movies from the 90s that I remember, like 15 and Pregnant with Kirsten Dunst. I remember more scenes from that than I do
Alec
Justice
Baldwin
League.
in The Shadow.
Yeah.
That's a superhero movie.
You just got these characters who aren't fleshed out yet because they haven't had their own origin story. It felt like I was reading a book as someone's trying to write it.
I need
I'm
the
about to turn the
origin
page, and they're
story.
like, "I'm almost done. I'm almost done. I'm almost done." All right, turn the page. Like,
We
It's rough.
want the cyborg movie. We want the cyborg movie.
I'm not saying I would have saved it, but man, you try to pack a lot into a tiny little box there. And
I think I just read that they signed Hugh Jackman to play Cyborg's dad in the next few movies.
oh, good.
Hugh Jackman
That'll
posted a
save it.
picture of his mom for Mother's Day on Twitter today. It looked like his wife. Hey. Sorry. All right, gang.
right,
Are
we
we
got some-
wrapping
we got-
up?